So that's a good sign. We're all systems go on this call this evening. So thank you everyone for taking time out to join this evening. Let's see if we can get our agenda to go. Okay, here we are. I wanted to sort of divert from our normal order of things and start with a special guest speaker this evening. Some of you may know Giulia Bodrini on our lands team. We have his daughter with us this evening, and I'm going to hand it over to her. But I just wanted to introduce by the fact that we spend so much of our time talking about wildfire preparedness. How do we prevent these wildfires from occurring? What can we do to minimize the risk to allow our firefighters as much opportunity as possible to be as successful as possible? But the fact is that fires do occur, and they're a huge impact on communities everywhere. And while we focus so much on what can we do to minimize the impact, to prevent those fires, we sometimes feel powerless to do anything when the fires have occurred. Like, what's our role? And Giulia's daughter, Giulia, has really stepped up and is making a real difference. And so I'm just going to hand it over to her to talk about her project, Project Spark, and give us some background on what she's doing in the community to many communities beyond Napa to make a difference. And with that, I'll hand this over to Masi and Giulia.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. My name is Giulia. So I started Project Spark when I was in sixth grade. So during COVID, I was 11 years old, and it all started from after our house burnt down. My mom, my brother, and I went to an insurance meeting about filling out claims. And at the end of the conference, my brother and I got called over to a table with a man sitting there, and he handed us two envelopes. And he explained to us that when his house burned 10 years ago, he and his neighbors decided that one day they were going to want to make a difference for other people that had their house burnt down. And so they create handwritten notes, and they pass gift cards all over California, and they drive to different locations. And so they explained that to us. And as we were opening the cards, and then we saw our handwritten note and our gift card from his neighbors, and he made us promise that one day we would pay it forward. So in 2020, when the glass fire came, my brother and I wanted to bake cookies, and then sell those cookies and raise money for gift cards so we can hand them out to the schools in Napa Valley, or the kids that go to the schools in Napa Valley that have been affected, like Vichy and Vintage. So we raised some money there. We wrote tons of cards, and we placed them with the gift cards from the money that we had raised. And I got to hand them out to Vichy and to the principal there at the time. And that was a really cool experience for me. So when I started high school, my outreach and leadership teacher told me that I should do a passion project. And I thought back to that experience, and I created Project Spark, which is a student-led initiative raising money for gift cards and handwritten notes that I was inspired by the man who had given it to me. And that's what I've been doing the past few years. And I've raised, around $25,000. In the past 2 weeks, I've raised $2,000 because we've had very many grateful donations, or very, very many thoughtful donations that I'm very grateful for. And this past week, I was actually able to be in Colorado and to hand out gift cards to a school in Beulah Valley, which is really close to the New Mexico border. And students there have been affected by the Aspen Acres fires. And also today, I sent out some more envelopes with the gift cards and the handwritten notes to other schools in Colorado in the county of Rye, which is 20 minutes away from the one that I went to. And so, those will be dispersed once they arrive. And that's kind of my passion project, Project Spark. And pretty much it.
Awesome. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And Giulia, I was looking on your website, and there were sort of two buckets of work. Like, if you need support. So for example, schools can reach out to your website and say, we could use the support. And then you work through school administrators. Is that correct?
Correct. I reach out to the principals and the like main counselors at the school, and most times I get a reply. And when I do, they usually tell me the amount of gift cards or cards that I would need to send out. They don't tell me anyone's information or anything like that. All I need is the amount. I write them, I package them with a little like instruction list on what's inside and my project, and I ship it over. Or if I'm in the area, I get to hand it to them, which is an amazing experience as well.
And who writes all the cards? Are those other students? Are they just community members across Napa? Or how do you get your handwritten notes?
So I have had a few I've had my school involved, and we've had students who, I mean, everyone in Napa has been affected by fires, mostly because they evacuate or they hear about it in the smoke. So my friends or other teachers or faculty will write notes at these donation drives that we have on MLK Day. And so we have other community members also join us, and we all write cards together. And then those are the ones being sent out to the kids and the faculty members. Obviously, I review them first to make sure they're good to go. And they get paired with a $25 gift card. And that's how it works. Yeah.
And how do you get your gift cards? Do you do donation drives, or is it through your website? Or how does the community support getting you the gift cards?
It's a little through everything. People can donate on my website. People see me on Instagram, and then from there donate on my website. Or I have donation drives where I ask for gift card donations of $25, usually to Target or like a place like a Visa gift card or a Target gift card, or a Walmart, somewhere they can get like basic necessities or something they would need that's like available to them, like in a Target or in a Walmart or Visa. So that's how I do it. Yeah.
It's been a great experience. This is something that I got involved just in the background. There was Giulia's idea. She always wanted to give back. We all did in the family in some way or another. For me, right now, is being part of Firewise and being a firefighter. For her, is just let's get together. Let's give encouragement to the people that are in a hard situation. Just like a handwritten note from anybody that is in our community can be a great encouragement for the one that are suffering, and now what we have been suffering back in 2017. So there is hope. It's a great message. Obviously, the gift card helps just for basic necessities, but I think that the human factor is what has a big impact on everybody.
Giulia, do you ever set up like tables at like events where you have people come up and sign cards? Or I'm just thinking about some of the events that we are at when we're out at different community events. We have a lot of, Napa City Fire Day or St. Helena Fire Day or American Canyon Fire Day. Do you ever have a table at those locations, or is there, do you need support in that area? Do you have students doing that, or is that one of the ways that you reach the community?
So usually I work with my school on MLK Day, which is like a day of service or a day of help. So it's a lot of different, my school has a lot of different passion projects. So mine, along many others, is set up, and community members come in and they help at every table that they can. And that's usually what I've been doing for the past couple of years. I'm also starting to put tables up for football games at Justin. I go to Justin, Siena. And I'll have student ambassadors, which are basically people that volunteer for a lot of things within the school and also outside of the school. And you have the opportunity through Justin to do that. So I will have them do that while I'm cheering, because I'm a cheerleader. So they'll be doing that. And then I'll also have handwritten notes written that way, and also collecting donations if anyone would love to donate at the games.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Any questions for Masi or Giulia about the program?
I just commend you for finding something that's a passion of yours and actually making it happen. Good for you.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you both for joining us this evening. And Giulia, I'll be sharing out the information from your website and the flyer that you shared, and we'll push this information out into the community. Again, to me, to know that we have a student out there in the community who has not just seen a need, but recognized what others have been going through from her own experience. And then again, as asked by the gentleman she met, really making a difference in a way. I just wanted to share that. I know there's so much going on right now with so many fires and so many people impacted, knowing that we have right here in Napa, a student making a difference. I just thought that was just such an important message for all of you to hear this evening.
Thank you so much again.
Yeah, Lori, thank you very much for dedicating some time out of this meeting. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you both. It's always a little delayed. I apologize. There we go. I'm not sure yet if we have anyone on. I know we have Shana from the Napa County Fire Administrator. For some reason on the Zoom screen, I cannot always see everybody who's on. So Shana, I don't know if you have any updates that you wanted to share.
I don't have any updates. I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for including me.
And for those of you who don't know from the last call or so, because I know it's not always possible to get on this call, Shana is our new fire administrator. She's our interim fire administrator. So she's replacing JR in this role, and she's already jumped in and been at many community meetings and CWP meetings. So I'm sure some of you have seen her and met her in person. And we really appreciate you leaning in on these calls, Shana. I'm not sure if Eric or any of the BCs is on. I'm looking to see. If not, we can go ahead and move in to our next presenter, which will be Steve Burgess. And Steve, I don't know if you want me to stop share, if you have something you want to share, or if you just want to sort of give an overview. Let me know how I can.
I have a video that I can show about halfway through of just the status of one of our projects, but I just want to give everybody an update on our current projects. So right now, we've got a few grants that are active. We've got a CAL FIRE 23 grant where we've got two large projects. There's the Sonoma County or Sonoma-Napa border project, which we talked about last time, that goes from Diamond Mountain to Spring Mountain. And that's about halfway done. And then we have another part of that grant where we're going to be doing this fall and early winter, where we're going to be doing some roadside work on State Highway 29 from Tubbs to Lake County border, which is a substantial portion of the remote part of that road. And then it gets a lot closer to Middletown and Calistoga outside those boundaries of that project. So it's going to be kind of classic Napa Firewise roadside cleaning, but deeper. That permit actually goes 200 or 300 feet deep. So depending on where we're at and how much the vendors commit to, we're going to get a lot of work done and make that a much safer route for ingress and egress. And then also for firefighting, they can probably use it as a fuel break too, which is a great thing that these roads have turned into. Our USDA grant, Hogback, was completed, but then we were able to squeeze out a little bit more money. So we actually have about 5 more acres being worked on that we started on this morning. And the Hogback Ridge fuel break is the one that goes from the Carneros Highway up to the top of Dry Creek Road. And so what we're doing is right where Mayacamas Vineyard is, Mayacamas Winery, we're kind of straightening out some of the corners up there and getting some added depth where it's really remote firefighting. So that's where these fuel breaks have to be the biggest, is where it takes a long time to get to because we need to buy more time and buy more safety. We also have a CAL FIRE 24 grant that we've been doing some grazing, as you know, out at Berryessa Estates and Berryessa Highlands. And we also grazed around the Atlas Peak repeater, which is a really important piece of technology for communicating during, well, year round, really. And we sure don't want to lose it during a fire. Our Napa County 25 grant, the dozer roads, we have actually completed all of our commitments for our Napa County 25 dozer road maintenance schedules. So, as you know, we've been fighting really hard to get these dozer roads reopened, maintained, et cetera, et cetera. And now we're in maintenance mode. And so Randy and or Ken go out there and just kind of skin the grass off and just make it bare mineral earth. And instead of having any grass on there, because a fire would go right across it if there was grass on top. And then we did a wonderful project at the Veterans Home where we have been doing a lot of work right around all of the buildings because the Veterans Home is a place where we want people to shelter in place, even though those are really strong words in the firefighting community. It's a very difficult place to evacuate. So we've been doing a lot of big buffer work around the Veterans Home. And we just added another polygon up along one of their roads by the Lake Hinman up above it, and then up connecting with another fuel break from another project. So we're actually connecting fuel break to fuel break to fuel break. And that's the stage we're in on a lot of these projects is we're able to get things touching each other, which is amazing. And we're also doing some really cool PG&E funded projects. We've got 4 projects from PG&E where we're doing some roadside work on the Atlas Peak Road, where we're treating those eucalyptus sprouts that we cut down earlier this year with Napa County funding. Now we're going back with PG&E money and eradicating those sprouts. We've got Berryessa Pines. We've got 2 polygons there that we're doing a shaded field break on. And we also have Berryessa Highlands. We finally, thanks to a Fire Safe Council member out there at Berryessa Highlands, we got a hold of a property owner, 25 acres right in the middle of everything. And we're going to be doing shaded field break all through there, especially in people's backyards. So huge success story out at Berryessa Estates, and that's called in between West Ridge and Arroyo Grande Road, if you know the area. So it's a big polygon, $25,000. And up in Angwin, we've got 2 polygons. So right along Hell Mountain Road, where all that really thick brush is by Helmer, and it's all kind of been a no man's land, and we finally figured out who really owned it. So we got permission to go work there. And then also along Cold Springs Road, we're going to clean up a vacant parcel that has not been maintained. It's right along the side of a very important emergency access road. So those are the current projects. And let me show a video of the Sonoma-Napa border. Let's see. Here's that lag time we're talking about here, going with Zoom. Okay, screen 2, share. You guys should see it. You guys see the pretty vineyard? So this is the
Not
top.
yet.
Yes,
It's not.
there it is.
There it is. There we go. The interwebs are working. So this is Pride Vineyards. This is Steve Pride's vineyard. And we are doing a shaded fuel break from here to the top of Diamond Mountain. And you'll be able to see the progress as we go. So we're going to do a little flyover. This video is 1 hour old, by the way. So this is exactly what it looks like right now. So obviously this is a fuel break. This is a vineyard. And then we're going to be connecting a shaded fuel break along this spine ridge here, all the way over to where you can drive again to the top of Diamond Mountain. This is actually part of Boothday State Park right here that we're over. Look at all these dead trees. Like if you had a fire here now, it's going to rip right on over the top. It's not going to stop. So having a 200-foot wide shaded fuel break on this spine ridge or whatever you want to call it, knife ridge, is going to be of huge strategic importance. And you can see in the center of the screen, there's kind of a brown stripe. So that's where we've already built thousands of burn piles. So that part of this grant is going to be burning those burn piles in the winter. This is an area where we cannot drive equipment for a couple reasons, environmental reasons, and also just safety.
Charlie, you want to look at this?
Pardon me? So, and so you can see here's the progress. We've made it this far to those redwood tree sprouts right there. So, and it's gorgeous in those redwoods there. Those are actually probably 80 feet tall. And then that fuel break there is 150 feet wide. So that's how, and you can see all the little burn piles in there. I mean, that's going to be thousands of burn piles by the time we're done. And then you can drive up to the top of that there. So that is accessible on there. So I call this informally Division W for wildland because this is an area where it's always going to be aerial firefighting and hand firefighting. And it's a great project, and I'm very confident that it's going to work when it needs to, unless it's a wind-driven fire. So, um, so back to my agenda. It's working, all of the work that we're doing. Something Lori and I were talking about is we've got a lot of new projects, but we also want to talk about how good our existing projects are. So some of the recent success stories are the American Canyon grazing that just stopped a wildfire. The Monticello roadside just this morning, there was a traffic collision that could have extended into the wildland. But we had just treated that 18 months ago, and it was really easy to catch things. And then there was the Picket Fire, obviously. And the biggest thing that keeps sinking into my mind about the Picket Fire is, and this is something Sheriff Ortiz says all the time, is they did not have to evacuate Angwin because of our project. And that is just huge. The toll fire, obviously, we provided a contingency line for that was going to come into play if anything went south. And then the old fire, which is a few years back, but that was on Soda Canyon Road, and our roadside job, stopped it from crossing towards Soda Canyon area. And then Petrified Forest Road, there was a traffic collision 10 by 10 spot last week, and one engine went and caught it. And we had just treated that road last year too. So, our projects are working, which is super exciting. So this maintenance cycle maybe is not as exciting as a brand new project, but it's exciting for us because we know we're maintaining something, we're being vigilant. So some of the new projects that you're gonna start seeing too. Our Napa Cal Fire 25 project has two wildland urban interface fuel breaks in the East Napa area in the Coombsville Wild Horse Fire Safe Council, and one in the Mount George Fire Safe Council. And the Napa County 26, we're looking forward to that being approved by the Board of Supervisors this week or next week, and we'll be able to release more details about which roads are being treated and the schedule for that in upcoming months. And then we've got a Cal Fire 25 grant where we're going to be doing some prescribed burn up on the Rancheria by Middletown and Monticello, some fuel break work up there. So those are very strategic areas where if there's a wildfire that starts on Highway 29 or the Middletown area, which is very common, 95% of fires start within 20 feet of a road or a house. And the worst situations are north and east winds, offshore winds. So it's really good to have these treated areas up there to our north and to our east. And so we'll have more projects once we nail down the funding to be announced too. So, and my personal 2 cents out there is just be vigilant right now. Clean your gutters, clean Zone 0, which is now going to be the law, which is kind of exciting. Cal Fire just passed that, first state in the nation, and probably in the world to have a Zone 0 ordinance. My personal goal is I fill my yard waste bin every single week. So if you can get your residents to fill their yard waste bin every week, that it's going to make a huge difference when there's fire. And just keep educating and empowering your neighbors. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. I love all the help from the fire safe councils, and get out the vote this year. I love telling this story about my second job when I was 16. I was at a restaurant. The restaurant owner pulls me aside and he says, "Hey, look, if somebody has a good meal here, they're going to tell one person. If they have a bad meal, they're going to tell 9 or 10 people. So we have to be good for every single person that comes through this restaurant." And that's really stuck with me ever since that moment when I was 16. And so, the voters, it's really easy for voters just to be negative and say no. So we have to work really hard to get those people to vote yes when we're coming up here in October. So, and if anybody has an elevator pitch, please share it with us. It's always good to hear these 10-second elevator pitches that people come up with on how to vote for these fire measures. So, any questions for me? Oh, Phil, I almost put you to sleep there. Sorry, buddy.
No, I'm just late getting here.
Okay.
I know, yeah, if we have any questions for Steve on projects, that would be great. And I know that Shana also wanted to maybe talk about Zone 0 a little bit and the new regulations. And I know we have Joe and Piper on to talk a little bit about the tax initiative. So I just want to see if we want to wrap up anything else on projects. And thank you for the constant reminder to fill our bins there, Steve.
That's my signature move. So, yep.
Well, if any of you have questions, you can always feel free. I know we can also make when you have your steering committee meetings, if we know in advance you have specific questions, either I can get the answers in advance, or we can have Steve or another member of the lands team join your meetings. So always reach out with questions, and I will try to get you the answer, or I will grab you the person who can get you the answer. So we want to make sure you have the information you need to push out to your Fire Safe Council, to your community.
This would be really nice if our next steering committee, which we're in the planning stages of right now, we could put Steve's talk in there a little bit and show it to our whole steering committee. That might be a really nice thing too. So if that's available, let me know.
All right, we're going to package Steve.
No, I love customizing, presentations. I was a high school teacher. I was in wine sales. You tell the same story over and over, tens and tens of thousands of times, and you have to, get it tuned to every person. So, if there's a different group that we want to meet, that I'd love to meet. Just call me. So
it would be great to get this out. We keep this to the Fire Safe Council leads this call because it just starts to get unwieldy. But one of the reasons we record it is to make it accessible, but it's also an opportunity for you to say this piece of information or this speaker, I would really like to bring out to my entire Fire Safe Council. This is just a real opportunity to do that. So yeah, we'll follow up, Phil. And then anyone else, please let us know.
Cool.
Thanks so much for being here, Steve. And all of the great updates and information. I always appreciate hearing, and it's always, really gratifying to hear. I mean, I'm in it every day with Napa Firewise, but when I hear Steve tell all of the things at the same time, it's always, just really gratifying and impressive to know all the work that's being done. So thank you. With that, I just wanted to ask Shana if you had any further updates that you wanted to share about Zone 0 that came out today, or
I
Napa
do.
County's take on that?
Yeah, and so what happened today was the Board of Forestry, they have been, they had a Zone 0 committee that 2 years ago started with some draft amendments to the regulations, and there was a lot of backlash from the communities out there. And so today the board accepted this draft version of Zone 0 that is, I call it Zone 0 Light. It's still amazing and important. It's based in science, but it doesn't mean that you have denuded your front yard, and that you still can have potted plants, things like that. But so there's a 120-day review period where the Board of Forestry will be accepting additional comments on the regulations, but they're pretty much, I think, going to go forward with what they have. It's been thought out for, like I said, the last 2 years. What the county's going to do, we sort of already have a Zone 0. We did that in 2021. So not only am I the fire administrator, but I also do defensible space enforcement, and I help write the ordinances. And so we have had a model ordinance recognized by the state and the nation. So I'd like to keep it that way. And but what will happen once this rolls out and we have had time to digest the changes, we will reach out, first of all, to the fire safe councils to educate you on what it is and what it is not, so that you can act accordingly. We want to get the message out to everyone what we think it means and how the county is going to interpret it and enforce it. There's a 3-year educational period. So assuming that Zone Zero becomes effective, say in February of 2027, there'll be an educational period for 3 years regarding some of the requirements, and then a 5-year period for some of the other requirements. I believe that's the non-combustible fencing and gates. But I will report back to you what all of it means once it's finally enacted. So we have what the actual rules are. But any new construction, once the regulation goes into effect, any new construction, all of the Zone Zero requirements will be effective immediately upon completion of the structure and construction. So that's coming. It sounds sort of daunting and scary, but like I said, we pretty much already have a lot of what these changes are. So, but I'm here to help everyone navigate what that means. And we will be doing some town halls. Clearly, we're going to reach out to the fire safe councils and have some education pieces there. And should you ever have any questions, as long as I'm fire administrator, certainly reach out to me, and I can help answer those questions. And that's about it on that. Until the regulations are posted on the Board of Forestry website, you can see the red lines if you are curious. It's sort of a lot. But they do have really good schematics. So again, like I said, it's not denuding and having zero vegetation in your yard. It's more of a thinning out, and just the critical places are within the first 5 feet of your home, whether it's dual pane windows, the proper gauge vents, and proper non-combustible siding, and of course fencing, and your choices of plants. So anyway, we'll be here to help educate you and assist each fire safe council with the special needs of their area. Thank you.
Cool.
Shana, can you tell me if the Zone Zero is going to be connected to permits that you pull for new construction, or is this something completely separate? And then how is this going to be overseen and inspected or checked off, or whatever that looks like?
It will most likely be tied to permits for new construction. I think it depends on the county's going to have to come out with whatever its range is for new construction, right? If you are if it's a whole new building, then all of it applies. But something less than that, I don't know yet. I'd have to go back and look at. It also ties in with the building code, because the building code has its own home hardening requirements. So the county will, in due time, adopt. We have to adopt all of these changes. What's enforceable in the state responsibility area versus the local responsibility area. Both areas will have to adopt and enforce all of the Board of Forestry regulations, the state regulations. But the county has our own regulations that are stricter in some places. So those will also remain in place. And so I do the enforcement. The inspector from the fire marshal's office, they come out and do the defensible space inspections. And if you don't comply, then I do the abatement warrants. So again, this is going to be a great educational tool. We are going to spend a lot of time over the next 5 years talking about as these different phases are rolled out, but it's going to be a big educational push before any enforcement. The current regulations and the current requirements are they're still required, and it will still be enforced. But it's the smaller the Zone Zero, and there are probably some changes to the other zones as well.
I see Steve's hand.
Thank you. Shanna, I have a question. So we have a number of realtors in our fire safe councils. So this is typically a time when people have to level up, is when a house sells. So is there going to be an added responsibility during a transaction or something like that?
Yes, there is, but not for another 3 to 5 years. So the Board of Forestry said that it will not be enforceable depending on and again, I will come back to you with the actual what regulations are enforceable now, well, enforceable when it's adopted, enforceable within 3 years and then within 5. So I will be able to give you that information. The fire marshal's office we have our undefensible space website, so there will be information there. The benefit of all of this is that I'm truly hoping that it increases our homeowners insurance options and that the rates go down. We have done so much work, especially with the help of Firewise and our fire safe communities, to reduce the fuel load. It's really making an impact. So this is a long game. This is not something we just do once and it's over. This is as long as we live here, this is what we're going to be doing. So Zone Zero is just a small piece of that, and I anticipate in the future that the regulations will get stricter. But if we do it right the first time, maybe they won't. Maybe this will be enough. But it just depends on the other counties in the state, right? We're exemplary, so keep up the good work.
Thank you for that update. And I will include that link when I send out the overview from the meeting so that everybody has it handy. So thank you. Up next, I don't know, I see both Joe and Piper on. Can either of you give perhaps an update on the tax initiative?
I'm
Piper, you want to do
happy.
it? Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. I'm happy to. Okay, so we have filed our ballot argument. You know that we're on the ballot as Measure B. We filed our ballot argument. We did get an argument against. It was pretty much pro forma, but that actually gives us the opportunity to file a rebuttal argument. We're working on that. That needs to be in by Friday. So we will do that. So we'll have basically two places where we can show both support and our arguments on the ballot. And I think that's a good thing. We are just now getting the signs to put up both on highways. We're getting some big signs, and then we're getting lawn signs. So I believe that we are bringing on a campaign manager who will be the person to sort of do a lot of the logistics. We will let all of you know, but that's the person probably from whom you can get the signs. And we're getting about 1,000 lawn signs, the smaller signs that are in the frames that always bend. That one. Anyway, we will have those, and the more of those that we can have people show, the better. We've got buttons now. Actually, let me take mine off and show it on the screen there. They're very cool buttons. Here we go, and I will let you know where to get those. Joe's got some down valley. Anybody up valley? I have a whole bunch of them at my house, but we'll have them at other things too. At any of your events that you have for your fire safe councils, it would be great to have them there. And we want people to get them and wear them starting from the beginning, because if they just take them with them, they might wind up in a drawer, and we want to see people wearing them. They're actually cool buttons. I wear mine all the time. That's kind of about it for the logistics. Steve mentioned elevator pitches, and we're going to have all of that for everyone, and we will distribute that out to this group. But it's really pretty simple. The main message is that it's a 0.5-cent sales tax that supports wildfire preparedness, watershed protection, and open space preservation, and none of those things have dedicated funding. So without this measure, whether or not these can be funded, particularly with, for us, the wildfire prevention is up in the air. And if we don't keep up on both maintenance and the new projects that Steve talked about, we're putting ourselves at risk. If we pass this measure, it will look to the CWPP for project priorities, and it will also send a message to insurers that this community is really supporting fire preparedness and fire prevention. Joe, anything you want to add?
No, I think that covers it pretty well. Piper and I want to make sure that we're available here to answer questions, provide any clarification if folks, are getting questions out there in the community. As we dig into the campaign, of course, we're going to be looking for any and all opportunities to meet up with residents, gatherings of residents, organizations. So if you have ideas about places where we might be able to share more information, let us know. We'd be happy to make arrangements for that.
Yeah, and if you want either of us at any of your meetings, just let us know, and if we can schedule it, we'd be happy to do it. Any questions?
I would love to get some information for like buttons or something like that. The yard signs for our meeting, which is next Tuesday. We're only having it every like 3 months. So if someone could just tell me where to go, I'll head out and pick it up.
We won't have
I
the
have a
yard
big box.
signs.
Good.
I was
Okay.
just going to say, we won't
Joe.
have the yard signs yet. Joe's got a
Okay.
big box, which is closer to you. If you were going to be in Calistoga, I have a couple of big boxes. So either way, if you're going to be in Calistoga, let me know. I'm happy to give you my address, but Joe is closer.
Okay.
Allison, I could meet you down at our office at the Community Foundation if you wanted.
That'd be great. How about Monday? Sometime on Monday? Give me
Monday.
your, you can email me.
Monday, 11 o'clock.
Sure.
You got it.
Thank you.
And Gretchen,
I'll send you a little invite.
Okay, thanks.
Hey,
Gretchen,
Joe, Lon here. I just wanted to suggest for everyone who's kind of Napa centric, maybe we could just make it available to pick them up at the office on Monday, and we could probably get some more people involved.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be
We
great.
have a bag there. Yep.
Perfect.
So
Gretchen,
I'm
Gretchen,
hosting, I'm co-hosting a CWPP meeting tomorrow in Calistoga at the Community Center for the Diamond Mountain Fire Safe Council. So Piper, I guess I'll reach out to you and see if I can come by earlier tomorrow and pick up some buttons and whatever.
I was planning to bring some to you.
Are you coming
Gretchen.
to the meeting?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, I'm coming
Lori,
and I will.
Lori,
Yes,
well, yes, and then you'll bring the buttons. That will save me a trip.
yes,
That'd be very nice.
absolutely.
Is there
All right.
anything else like a handout with the sort of the elevator pitch on it ready yet?
well, there's the fact sheet.
Yeah.
Lori, do you have copies of the fact sheet? I think we've just been printing them out.
From the website? Kind of.
Yeah, the fact sheet is on the website.
Okay. All right.
I
we'll
don't
figure
think
that
I
out.
saw any printouts in our storage unit, Piper. So we would have to get those.
I can print out a few for tomorrow if what's on the website. That's okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that should be fine.
But
And
the buttons will be gold.
yeah, the buttons are very cool, and I'm glad that Lori is bringing them, because I'm actually
you.
taking off super early in the morning to go do caregiver training. Kennedy is coming home on
Oh.
Saturday.
Oh, congratulations. And yet still, that's pretty big. That's a lot for you. Yeah, yeah. Way to go, you guys. Home is best.
Yep.
Okay. So, Lori, we can talk maybe tomorrow about the logistics for tomorrow evening.
Absolutely.
We'll do that offline here, but yeah, we're having our big meeting tomorrow. So we're looking forward to it. We've been planning it for several months, and we're going to update our CWPP.
Cool.
Speaking of maintenance projects, right? I mean, it's not just fuel. We have CWPPs that have been around, and congratulations to everyone that have had CWPPs and are now at the renewal stage. That also says a lot about Napa County.
It does. I'm really grateful to Napa Firewise for spearheading it, because it would be overwhelming for each Fire Safe Council to sort of organize it on their own. And I'm very grateful for Napa Firewise for paying for Carol Rice to be our consultant and to do that for us. That's huge. So we
And
can
we do that
walk
with a
people-
grant from Napa County.
Oh,
So
Napa
just wanna-
County, right on,
Yes.
exactly.
Props,
So, but
props to
that's
Napa
really
County.
huge.
Yeah.
That's huge for us to walk in tomorrow with that backup, with that kind of support and guidance and leadership, and all the charts will be there, and we can just, have the conversations, but we don't have to sort of do it all ourselves. And that's the whole point of this community collaboration. So we're
And
living it right now.
yes, and it's been so incredible. I thank you for calling that out, Gretchen, because I can't tell you, having Carol Rice there for starting all of our CWPs, but also having the history and re-engaging and renewing all of these with, we couldn't do this without this grant from Napa County to make that happen. And it's just been,
It's
these
huge.
meetings are huge, and these documents are making a difference, and the community engagement to determine the project. So I'm really looking forward to the meeting tomorrow night. And we've had a recent one in Knoxville. Calistoga has been working on theirs. Piper has been. I think we have 12 in play right now between
That's
new
a
and
lot.
renewals.
For you guys,
And,
that's a lot.
but
Wow.
it's very exciting to see all of the work being done as community members talk about the risks and opportunities in their areas.
And I'm going to take a little second to shout out to our late Jerry Newell, who was spearheading the CWPP 6 years ago, also on the board of NCFF, but also our Diamond Mountain Fire Safe Council, one of the founders for us. And he really, with a couple other people, obviously, but he really spearheaded that and got it across the finish line. And it was all new, right? It was all new to us. So now we get to update it. Right.
So I want to open the floor up to if there's any other updates from Fire Safe Councils. Is anything that any of you want to share, or any questions that you have while we have Steve here and Joe here and Piper here? If there's any questions, please feel free. This is, like to have this session at the end to be able to share what's going on in your area or answer any questions.
I might talk for just a second about something. We're in Pope Valley here, where people are pretty spread out. There's not community is a little stuff. Trying to get people together is a little more difficult. But one of the things that's a common thread is that so many people out here have fair plan, or unfair plan, as they call it locally, and do that. And it's expensive. And I understand those rates are expected to rise shortly. Ann Cottrell the other night and I were talking, and she mentioned that some other insurance companies are coming back into California. And she contacted one of them, who got in touch with me, and they seem very active. They really want to help. They asked a whole lot of questions, wanted to see a whole lot of pictures, and I'm sorry I don't have the quote yet, but judging from my conversations with them and stuff, I think we'll be able to save a couple of $1,000s. I can't promise that, but that's what I'm shooting for. And that would be a big thing to push the people who are sort of on the edge. I mean, the biggest thing is to save your house from fire. But if you could save a couple of grand along the way, maybe that's something to push a little bit. And I'll let people know as soon as I find out. But anyway, something to think about.
Hey, Phil, this is Glenn up in Soda Canyon. Do you happen to remember the name of the carrier?
Mercury.
Mercury. Yeah.
Okay.
Joe knows that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been really proactive.
Okay. Good.
If you want, send me an email. I can send you the contact person there.
Yeah, that sounds great. There's also Orion 180, but you have to be within 5 road miles of a fire station, manned fire station. They're down out of Melbourne, Florida. So there's some different participants that are starting to, see opportunity in the market.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's a dynamic world.
Indeed. I'm also getting emails from an outfit out of Los Angeles called WOWs, and they're kind of like a MGA at this point. Like, I don't know who they're fronting for, who the ultimate carrier is, but I'm going to be digging into that. Has anybody else gotten contacted by this outfit that's sort of specializing in wildfire risk insuring homes called WOWs? It's kind of a dumb name, but that's what they call themselves.
How is that spelled?
Wow with an S at the end.
Okay.
I'll send that
Okay.
along. I think I must have signed up for something because, out of curiosity, what are people doing? And now I'm getting pinged. I'll forward that along.
We are currently helping a number of landowners and wineries go through their commercial renewals, so we should have some more data points here. In the next few months. We've certainly helped a number of folks get their premiums down or get their coverage up. We were able to get a number of folks off of fair plans, off the fair plan. We, like Mercury, we're also working with CSAA to see if on the personal lines we can, potentially open up some capacity with them. And we're looking for a way to do a tour with Mercury. We've had a number of conversations with them. We want to be mindful about not kind of overextending the expectation about what they can do, but we certainly want to get them exposed to different communities and see if we can make that resource available to folks if it obviously makes a difference.
Yeah, and we can't be probably as an organization be seen as recommending anything like that, but just to, making sure people are aware of their options is
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think in a world where it's pretty hard to get insurance, I'm probably less concerned about referring folks over to insurers that are willing to consider it. So
I just put a couple links in the chat box there for WOW's Insurance and Orion 180. We got pretty far down the line with Orion 180, but we were too far away from the Station 25 at the corner of Atlas Peak in Monticello. So I pushed him on it, but I couldn't get them to get comfortable with that we were just like 8 road miles instead of 5 from the manned fire station.
I copied those over and I'll include those as well. And as Joe said, we have had conversations with Mercury. I think they're looking at building a portal where people can provide information up. And as soon as they have that, we've asked if they could come speak to this group and, share out. And I think that's late this year or early next year. So more to come on that. Any other updates or questions?
I'll do one more quick update from Diamond Mountain that we are in full activity on getting beacon boxes set up. We've received draft maps, and then we're sent them out to our different neighborhoods to get some ground truthing, which is fairly complicated. We're taking our time, but noticing they're missing some addresses and missing things that that neighbor has a pool and that neighbor has a tank and stuff like that. So we're going through and trying to make it as updated as possible. But yeah, we're kind of in the thick of it right now. So we're excited for that. It's been a few years getting up to this point, and we're looking forward to finishing, getting it complete.
Brandon, I think you might want to, you had your hand up.
Yeah, fantastic. It has been a long journey for the beacon box, I have to say. Just this afternoon, I've been traveling all day. That's why I'm kind of late to this meeting. But Spring Mountain Fire Safe Council just got the green light a couple hours ago for the installation of beacon boxes in the perimeter that is in the city of Santa Elena, which I want to get on with Chris Warner about. If he's on this call, Chris, you and I can speak offline about what that means with respect to the city of Santa Elena perimeter. But yes, it's been a long hard road, but we are getting there and we're doing the best that we can and we're making progress. So cheers to everybody involved with that. Lori, you've been great. and everyone else, and Pam and everybody in the Spring Mountain Fire Safe Council who's listening. I appreciate you, and let this be a model for the rest of the county, except not take some.
Indeed. I have a question for Joe, if he's still on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you are. We're doing beacon boxes and we're fully into it, but someone the other day was saying, well, they're already in a enhanced resiliency zone. And so all that beacon box mapping is already in sort of their resiliency zone material. So it's sort of redundant for them. And it's like, okay, is it going to be redundant, or is it better to have redundancies, or is it basically different people will be using the information?
I'm a little confused. Did the residents say that they don't want to have a beacon box on their property because they're in an enhanced resilience site?
They just commented, they came to my house and saw I printed out the maps really large so I could make detailed notes. And they said, oh, well, we've already given all that information's already part of our being in the enhanced resiliency district that we're in. So they're at the end of Whitehall Lane. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, because she was sort of like, oh, you're doing that. Well, we've already sort of done that through the resiliency, work. And it's like,
well, the short answer is that both are great. There's really it's not like an either or. So the enhanced resilience site data that we're mapping goes directly into tablet command. But because it's a data layer, it can also be lifted and dropped into a QR code. And so essentially, the fire authorities have the ability to take that data layer that we're creating with all these enhanced resilience sites and use it in a number of different ways.
Same with the beacon box map. So that's the whole point. That's what the point
so
was.
separately and apart from that, but connected, the beacon boxes have all a lot of data. They essentially will have enhanced resilience site data in them, and to the extent that like complete power grid failure, cell towers down, no connectivity, then the beacon box presents this sort of fail safe, failover thing that can be really useful as well.
Yeah. So they work together. They're going to pretty much be having the same data, except I think resiliency will be more because there'll be all the road issues that you'll have on yours. But okay, just sort of like, well, we've come down the road this far, and then I don't want to feel like
it's not an either or.
I want to have a good argument for why we should still finish our beacon box project.
So our 10-second elevator pitch on that, to Steve's idea, is that out-of-town crews will access those maps, and that's really the emphasis that
but they'll also, if you're in an enhanced resiliency zone, they would have that too, but not all areas are going to be in the enhanced resiliency zones yet. So that
one is paper, the other requires a device.
Exactly.
Right. And the beacon box is paper plus a thumb drive plus a QR code. It's all of it.
And sometimes those crews get sent directly to locations without being able to get through Big Tree Road or wherever.
Yeah.
Correct. Think of the information inside of a beacon box as like a cheat sheet for folks from out of town who aren't familiar with the area.
Right.
And like Joe said, it can provide an analog backup if all digital goes down.
Yeah. I mean, that's ultimately
right. So in this case, redundancy is very important.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will add a shout out to Supervisor Cottrell, who I had met with last week to let her know that we were struggling getting within the city of St. Helena to get that final push for permitting. And it sounds like things worked out. So I just want you all to tuck that in the back of your heads as you go through the permitting process, that she's an engaged partner with this and wants to see your permits get pulled and executed as well so that you can get your boxes put in.
Awesome.
Yeah. Right. So Pam, this is also breaking news for you. We can start. I've got the guy queued up. We can start installing boxes as early as next week.
Let's do it. Lori, let's get that photography crew out there. Get your social media team on it, because
time to break a bottle of champagne across.
We might need to.
We're going to need to break a few bottles of champagne on this.
And then also, Brandon and Pam, we and Diamond Mountain are going to follow you guys. And when we're ready in a few more weeks, months, we're going to see about your contractor to do
Yeah.
installations for us.
Great. I'm happy to share, and he's happy to work.
So you can let him know he's got a few more to go, 3 to 4 more to go.
Excellent.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'm going to sign off.
You bet. Stephen Burgess, are you still on?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Benelli.
My elevator pitch that I use is I'd rather see XYZ, whatever your pitch is. I'd rather see XYZ than see your house on fire. Period.
Yeah, or your neighborhood or your what?
Or
Yeah,
your neighborhood, or exactly.
Everyone, thank you so much tonight for sharing all of these resources and updates. I really appreciate, as I can't say it enough, what an engaged community, and having all of you in leadership roles making such a difference, and bringing us your questions, the concerns you're hearing, and helping to take the information that we share and push that out to your communities. We really couldn't do any of it without this amazing group of Fire Safe Council leadership. So with that, it's 6:03. I try to get us, to the dinner tables. I can't cook it for you, but I'm trying to get you to your table. So
And
thank
the Zoom
you.
technology really helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That we can all meet together on this huge
Yes.
region that we live in, and we're all here together. It's amazing.
Yeah, Lori, we couldn't do it without you either. So
Thank
Right.
you. Thank you, Lori, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Great
everyone.
seeing you.
Thanks, y'all. Have a
Bye.
nice
Good evening.
evening. Bye.
all right.
Good night.